Have you ever used an app that was just beautiful? So intuitive, it was like it could read your mind? And then, have you used one that was a clunky, frustrating mess? Well, what separates the two isn't magic. It's actually a set of invisible rules, kind of like a secret language that all great designers use. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and decode that language.
I mean, really think about it. The last time a website or an app just felt right. You found what you needed in like 2 seconds. It was effortless. That seamless experience, that feeling that it just works, that wasn't a happy accident. Nope, it's the result of this powerful visual language, a set of principles that create clarity and order out of what could easily be chaos. And today, we're going to teach you the grammar of that language. You're about to start seeing the world through a designer's eyes. So, where do we start? Well, you start with the foundation, right? These first few principles are all about structure. Think of them as the skeleton that gives a design its shape and stability. If you get these right, everything else just falls into place. Okay, first up, alignment. This sounds so simple, but it is profound. It's the idea that nothing on a screen should be placed randomly. Every single element, whether it's text, an image, a button, it should have a visual connection to something else. It's like an invisible grid holding the whole thing together. So why is this so important? Because our brains are hardwired to see order. Good alignment instantly signals that this design is professional and trustworthy. It stops things from feeling messy and just lets your eye glide smoothly across the page. I mean, think about the toolbar in Google Docs. Every icon is perfectly lined up. You don't even have to think to find what you need. That, right there, is the power of a strong grid. Next up, we have proximity. This one's all about relationships. Basically, things that are close to each other are perceived as belonging together. By simply grouping related items, you're sending a super powerful nonverbal cue to the viewer that says, hey, these things are a team. And let me tell you, proximity is a designer's secret weapon against clutter. You know when you're filling out a form online? All the address fields, street, city, state, zip, they're all huddled together in one neat little block, right? That's proximity at work. It takes a bunch of information and organizes it into chunks that are way easier for our brains to process. And our final foundational principle is white space. Now listen, we have to be really clear about this. White space is not empty space, not at all. It's an active, powerful design element. It's the pause between notes that makes music so beautiful. It's the breathing room that makes content feel approachable and not overwhelming. If you want to see a masterclass in this, just look at Google's homepage. It's practically all white space. By getting rid of every single distraction, they focus all of your attention on the one thing that matters, that search bar. It's incredibly confident, and it is brutally effective. All right, we've built our foundation, the skeleton is in place, now it's time to shine a spotlight. This next group of principles is all about emphasis, the tools designers use to guide your eye and tell a story about what's important. If structure is the skeleton, then emphasis, well, that's the beating heart. And that leads us straight to hierarchy. See, in any given design, not everything is equally important. Hierarchy is how you communicate that visually. You're essentially creating a roadmap for the user's eye, telling them, hey, look here first, then look over here, and then check this out. So how do you do it? Just think of any major news website. The biggest story of the day isn't some tiny little link buried at the bottom of the page, is it? No way. It's a massive, bold headline that practically screams at you from the top. That, my friends, is hierarchy doing its job perfectly. Now, working hand in hand with hierarchy is its best friend, contrast. If hierarchy tells you what's important, contrast is what makes those important things truly pop off the page. By making things different, a bright color against a dark background, a huge font next to a tiny one, you create a little bit of visual tension that just draws the eye in. And contrast is absolutely vital for two big reasons. First, it makes key actions impossible to miss. That bright blue sign-up button you see everywhere, total contrast at work. But second, and this is crucial, it's essential for accessibility. Good contrast ensures that people with visual impairments can actually read and use the design. It's not just a suggestion, it's a necessity.
Our last principle of emphasis is balance. Think of it like this. Every element on a page has a certain visual weight. Big, bold, dark elements feel heavier than small, light-colored ones. Balance is just the art of arranging those elements so that the whole design feels stable and grounded, not like it's about to tip over. And you can do this symmetrically for a formal feel or asymmetrically for something more dynamic. You want to know who the absolute masters of asymmetrical balance are? Apple.
Just go to their website. They'll put this big, gorgeous, visually heavy photo of an iPhone on one side and then balance it perfectly with a small block of light text and a ton of white space on the other. The result feels sophisticated, calm, and perfectly stable. It's just beautiful.
So we've built this structure and we've aimed the spotlight. Now it's time for the final polish. These last principles are all about harmony. They're the rules that tie everything together to create one cohesive, professional design that just feels complete. Let's kick it off with repetition. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's about deliberately repeating things throughout your design, using the same colors, the same fonts, the same style of buttons. Why? Because repetition builds familiarity. It actually helps the user learn how your interface works, making it feel predictable and intuitive. A perfect example of this is Amazon. It doesn't matter if you're buying a book, a lawnmower, or a bag of coffee, you always know exactly what that bright orange Add to Cart button is going to do. Through pure, relentless repetition, they have trained billions of us. It's an incredible piece of user experience design. And that brings us to our grand finale, our seventh principle, unity. In a lot of ways, unity is the ultimate goal of any design. It's that magic moment when all the other principles we've talked about, alignment, contrast, repetition, all of them are working together in perfect harmony. When a design has unity, every single piece feels like it belongs. Spotify just nails this. Whether you're in their mobile app or on their website, you know you're in the Spotify universe. That iconic green accent color, that specific font, the soft, rounded buttons, all of those repeated, consistent elements work together to create one single, unmistakable experience. That is unity. Okay, so we've covered the 7 principles. Theory time is over. Now for the fun part. Let's see these principles in action and watch how they can take a total chaotic mess and transform it into something clear, clean, and effective.
Okay, look at the before. Yikes. It's a visual nightmare, right? 10 different fonts, clashing colors, nothing lines up. Your brain doesn't know where to look, it hurts. So let's fix it. First, bam, we create hierarchy with one big, clear headline. Then we use alignment to tuck that navigation into a neat little row. Next, we need action, so we use contrast to make that button pop. We create unity by sticking to just 2 colors and 1 font family. And finally, we let the whole thing breathe with a healthy dose of white space. Look at that! Same content, but it's gone from a disaster to a delight just by applying the rules.
And there you have it, the 7 core principles that make up the language of visual design. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. The next time you use an app, or browse a website, or even just look at a poster on the street, I want you to really look. Look for the invisible grid of alignment. Notice the clear path of hierarchy. See the rhythm of repetition. Now that you speak the language, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. What will you see differently?